Hello and welcome to the last section of Chapter 2. This is 2.8. We're going to be talking about distance, midpoint, and circles. So some of this is old, some of it you just need a refresher on, and I think you'll enjoy it. So right here, we're going to find the distance between 2 points. We're going to talk the midpoint of a segment. We're going to do a standard form of a circle. We're going to find the center and the radius, and we're going to convert to general form. So right here, I'm hoping you remember that your distance formula is really the Pythagorean theorem, right? A squared plus b squared equals c squared, where a represents your x's, b represents your change in y, and c is your distance. So to get the distance, you take the square root of the c, so you're taking the square root of the changes in the x's squared plus the change in the y's squared. So let's go here. So I need to know how far is it from 2 to 5? Well, if you know that's 3, you can write down 3 squared. Okay, if not, we can do the entire formula. So I can say this is 5 minus 2 squared plus the change in the y. So that's 1 minus a negative 8 squared. And this is going to equal my distance. Remember, distance always positive, so there's no negative in here. So 5 minus 2 is 3. 1 minus a negative 8 is 9. So I have the square root of 3 squared, which is 9, plus 81. So the answer is the square root of 90 is the distance between those 2 points. Midpoint formula. So how do you find the middle of something? This should be mid. I don't like M because that stands for slope. So to find the middle, you add and divide by 2, correct? So you take the x's and you add them together, you divide it by 2, and then you do the same with the y. And that will give you the middle of the 2 points. Okay, try yours. So you should have said, hey, that's 2 plus 5 over 2 for my x, minus 8 plus 1 over 2 for my y. So this is 7 halves, negative 7 halves, or 3.5 and negative 3.5. Okay, standard form of a circle. Remember, it's x squared, y squared, right? Equals r squared. The h is the h, or the x, the center, x value of the center, and k is the y value of the center. Always opposite sign. So if I give you 5, negative 3, and 6, you should be able to write this form. Okay, give it a shot. So you should have said, hey, that's x minus 5 squared plus y minus a negative 3, or plus 3. Remember, opposite sign, squared, and then you had to square the 6. So you should have had equal to 36. Nothing too complicated yet. All right, now I want you to look at it and give me the center and the radius. All right, I hope you have it done. So you should have said opposite sign, so the center is negative 1, 9, and that the radius is the square root of 16, so my radius is 4. Right, now we're going to give it to you in standard form, and you have to change it to the form where we can find the center and the radius. So when you do this, your first step is to combine the x's together in one parenthesis. Then we combine the y's together in the second set of parentheses. We're leaving that plus blank because we have to complete the square. We're going to move the 2 to the other side, which is here. Now this blank here represents the x that we're going to fill in here, and this blank here represents the y. All right, how do you complete the square? You're right, you take half the middle term and square it. So this is 6 divided by 2 squared, so 3 squared is 9, both blanks. Remember, that now is x plus 3 quantity squared. You made your perfect square trinomial. Same over here. This is negative 1 divided by 2 squared. So this is 1/4. This is 1/4, our y value, plus, now that is y minus, remember, half your middle term, squared, equals 11 1/4, or 45/4. All right, when we go to graph that, I can now find my center opposite sides of these. So I know my center is -3, 1/2. And then I know my radius is the square root of 45/4. I would actually just plug that in my calculator. I think it is close to 1. So that turned out to be 1.7. So we go to -3.5 and we put our center. From there we go out 1.7 in all directions. So about right there probably. Not a very good grapher here. So there's 1.7 in right there. And draw, oh wow, do better than me. Draw your circle. Nothing too, my circle just went, that was weird. Okay, now it's your turn. Pause and try it. So you should have x squared plus 4x plus blank plus y squared, whoops, minus 6y plus blank equals, you're going to bring the 1 to the other side, plus your x blank plus your y blank. Half the middle term squared gave you 4. Half the middle term squared gave you 9. So we have a 4 and a 9. So now this should have been x plus 2 quantity squared plus y minus 3 quantity squared. Remember, this is 2 and this is -3, and that's what goes here and here, equals 14. So now I need to know the square root of 14. Gotta be 3 point something. 3.7. So I know my center is equal to -2, 3. And my radius equals the square root of 14, which is 3.7, roughly. So now we go to -2, 3. We put in our center. We go out 3.7. All directions. 1, 2. Why does this not like to stay? 3. Up. And down. And draw in your circle. Better than I just did. All right, good luck on your homework, and then we're on to review.